Welcome to the big one now. Vienna City, a popular nightclub and entertainment center located at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra, has been gutted by fire. The fire is reported to have started around 7 p.m. Thursday. It's unclear what caused the fire. However, property running into thousands of cedis have been destroyed. Personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service are on site fighting the fire. Vienna City is located right across the Goyle filling station that caught fire on June 3rd, the double flood disaster on June 3rd, 2015. Our reporter Peter Kwao Adato is at the site now and is joining us on via live from the place. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Steve.
Right, quickly, tell us the situation now. We know fire has got to the Vienna City, but as of now, what is happening there?
Yeah, Steve, I can tell you that, first of all, I want to inform our viewers that these are pictures that I have taken earlier. But currently, the fire has been brought under control. There's not a single naked fire you can see inside the building. But I can tell you that the entire building has been consumed in the ravaging fire, which started around 7 p.m.
Very sad. So do we have any report of casualties or exactly what have been destroyed in the fire?
Steve, I can tell you that everything inside the Vienna City has been consumed by the fire. According to the fire service, which spoke to us, the regional commander spoke to us, he confirmed that everything inside the building has been consumed. When you stand outside, you see the building, the front standing very well. But when you get closer, everything inside is gone. And the fire service was able to report on time and then managed to control the fire. You know, this Vienna City is situated between banks, filling stations, and many huge industries. But they were able to control the fire within the Vienna City. It never spread to any other facility around. So police were here in their number, NADBO was here, and all emergency services were all here to make sure that this fire didn't go beyond what it has consumed now.
Right. Peter, there are other media reports suggesting that there have been one casualty. Can you confirm this?
Come again, please.
I'm saying there are media reports of a casualty, one person dead in this fire. Can you confirm that?
No, there was no casualty in this thing. According to the workers, they were just reporting for duty when the fire started from one of the air conditions in the room. There were few people, not even up to 10 workers reported before the thing happened. Fire service came on time. They were able to control. In fact, the police were here. They tried to make sure that no nobody who is not on duty, fireman, NADMO or whatever, should come near the place. They have managed to cordon the people about 20 meters away from the building so that they will not go in there for anything to happen. Nothing at all happened. Nobody was hurt. No fireman, no worker, nobody was hurt in this fire. But the fire, I can tell you that the fire service did their best. They were able to contain the fire within the Vienna City and make sure that if anything at all would destroy, as it is, it should happen within the Vienna City.
Right, Peter, we'll have you hold briefly. I will return to you to continue with our conversation, but these are the interactions we had with people on location.
Yeah, one AC. And you know, everything in there is flammable. You can see the chairs are full of foams. And you can see everything there are wooden structures. So definitely it will get burned. My name is Hansen Doc. Hansen Doc. Yeah, Doc, D-O-K. Yeah, I'm a staff here. Thank you very much.
Right, Peter, so you did mention that the fire service did everything possible to make sure the fire at the Vienna City did not spread to the adjoining banks. I think there is a Barclays Bank next by. What exactly did the fire service do?
Hello, Steve.
Yeah, Peter, if you heard me, did you hear me? I'm saying that you mentioned earlier that the fire service tried hard to make sure the fire did not spread from Vienna City to the surrounding banks. The next bank is Barclays Bank, and I think across the street is the Ghana Commercial Bank. What exactly did the fire service personnel do to make sure this happened? I mean, for the success of they achieved there.
Well, I didn't get your last statement. What did the fire service?
I'm saying that you have mentioned to us, Peter, that the fire service managed to ensure that the fire did not spread to the adjoining bank. So I'm asking exactly what they did. Right, I think Peter is not hearing us. That's understandable. He's in the midst of loud noise and a lot of agitation at the site where there is fire raging. And if you've just joined us, Vienna City, a popular nightclub in Kwame Nkrumah Circle area, has been razed by fire. Peter Kwao Adato is reporting that everything there has burned down. And you heard a staff we spoke to earlier saying that all the structures there are made of wood, which aided the fast burning of the structures there. So we will be going quickly to Peter Adato if there are any developments. But if you've just joined us, Vienna City, a popular nightclub and entertainment center located in the heart of Kwame Nkrumah Circle, has been gutted by fires. You heard our reporter. The fire is expected to have started around 7 p.m. Thursday, and it's not clear what caused the fire. Peter Kwao Adato is reporting that there are suspicions that an faulty air condition might have resulted in this, but we don't have credible information from the fire service to confirm this. Personnel from the fire service, however, are on site, and Peter reports that the fire has been totally brought under control. You would recall that on June 3rd last year, there was flood and fire at that area. The gold filling station was affected with hundreds of...
And he realized that there was the need to request for additional pumps. So he requested for an assisted message, and we added 2 additional pumps, making 3. We again realized that there was the need for more pumps. So as I speak with you now, we have mobilized 10 fire appliances, including water tankers, water tenders, and foam tenders. As you can see, we have been able to bring the situation under control. For that matter, the fire is confined to only the premises of Vienna City. You know, we have a filling station on my left, as well as car bank. There are other big structures too on my right side. We have been able to prevent the fire from spreading to these properties. So I wish to assure the general public that the Ghana National Fire Service is in full control of the fire that we are tackling here. There isn't any cause for alarm. We are trying to investigate the exact cause of fire.
But what we are hearing is that you delayed in responding.
The response is no. We were here 4 minutes after we have received the call at our control room. Usually what happens is that whoever sees the fire first, or better to say whoever discovered the fire, usually they are in a haste. So they will be in a fix and be confused as to the exact phone number that they are supposed to call. So at times you go to a fire scene, somebody will complain that they called the fire service, they were delaying. You ask him the number he called, then you realize that he'll be formally. We are always on call. We run 24/7. We run 24/7. Our control room duty ladies are always alert, especially during this time of the year where, you know, we experience fire outbreak. You know, we just celebrated the Easter, so people are still in the Easter mood. But no casualty whatsoever among the firefighters, among the users, and even the general public who usually troop to such things. There isn't any casualty whatsoever. The situation is under control. We are assuring you that have confidence in the fire service and we will deliver. I'm Assistant Chief Fire Officer Ebenezer Simpson. I'm the Greater Accra Region.
Right. I like the confidence of the fire officer who is telling us that the situation is absolutely under control. We'll go back to the venue now where our reporter Peter Kwawadato is still on location. Peter, quickly, can you tell us what the situation is now? I mean, the fire started at 7 p.m. by now. We want to know what the situation is.
Yeah, Steve, the situation now is completely under control. The fire service are now packing their equipment. They've even closed the gate to halfway, waiting for the fire service to remove the hose and other things that they use in fighting the fire, so that they can close the gate and leave it in the control of NADMO and other emergency services who are to take care of the place till the fire service to complete their investigation into the actual cause of the fire.
Right. Peter, have you been able to speak to management of the facility or maybe owners of the facility? Apart from the one person who we spoke to who is a staff, has anyone else spoken?
Apart from the staff that I spoke to earlier, I have not been able to identify managers of the facility to talk to any of them. The police were also here to give me some information in addition to what the fire service has provided us, but I'm not been able to get any of the managers to speak with.
What about patrons? I know that on a day like this, Vienna City is very packed, usually packed with people patronizing all sorts of things. Those drinking and those coming in for prostitutes and call girls, etc. Have you been able to speak to anyone at all?
Still, there is no single person who is not a fireman, a police, a NADMO, or emergency worker very close to this place. Anybody who is an onlooker has been restrained from the area not to get close to the place. And I believe you saw earlier in the pictures that there are people who were prevented far away from the place. And so that is the situation. I've not been able to identify anybody who is connected to the place and to discuss anything with me or her.
Peter, we're very grateful. Thanks very much. Peter Kwawadato is our reporter who is on the ground there. If you've just joined us, this is the report we're bringing you from Vienna City in Kwame Nkrumah Circle area, where the place has absolutely, totally been burnt down by fire. And Peter reports that nothing has been salvaged there. The fire service has been under control, brought the fire under control, and they're packing away from the place. Investigations will begin very soon. So let's continue. Government says that it will back the creation of an Office of Independent Public Prosecutor to help in the fight against corruption. Speaking at a meeting on the United Nations Convention Against Corruption Review of Ghana, Deputy Chief of Staff Johnny Osei-Kofi reiterated President Mahama's commitment to fight corruption.
The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SRAJ, has confirmed it is currently losing quality human resource due to poor conditions of service. According to the Commission, some of its trained lawyers are opting for private practice because it comes with better conditions and salary packages. The turnover is negatively impacting the operations of the anti-corruption body. Acting Commissioner of SRAJ, Richard Quayson, said workers in the commission must be compensated well to help fight corruption.
The conditions of service for lawyers at SRAJ compared to other institutions like the Judicial Service, Attorney General's Office, is quite terrible. And all that we are asking for is that at least there should be a certain level of commonality among these institutions, because they do almost the same thing that our people do.
The Deputy Chief of Staff, Johnny Osei-Kofi, said the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission would be expected to address the situation before close of day, April 8.
We'll be engaging fair wages, rigorous from today, because we cannot allow legal brains, from SRAJ, to jump across the wall and go into other areas to work.
Right, let's quickly get onto the telephone lines now and speak to the former Commissioner of SRAJ, Justice Emil Short, Francis Short. He's joining us on the telephone. Good evening, sir, and thanks for your time.
Good evening, and thanks for inviting me to speak to you.
So tell us, what will be the advantage of setting up an independent public prosecutor in Ghana?
Well, over the years, we have seen that the Minister for Justice, who is also the Attorney General, has not been able or has been unwilling to mount certain prosecutions, especially prosecution involving corruption, involving ministers of the sitting government. And so there has been a debate over the years of decoupling the two positions. In other words, separating the Minister of Justice from the Attorney General and making the Attorney General an independent public prosecutor. So the advantage would be that when it comes to corruption, you would have somebody who does not have allegiance to the government and will be able to prosecute economic crimes like corruption and embezzlement. Take, for example, the Auditor General's report. Over the years, we've gone through this ritual of there being no prosecution. And this is primarily because the Attorney General, who's the Minister for Justice, is unwilling or unable to prosecute members of the government or those heads of department. So I think that it would be useful if we had an independent public prosecutor.
Right.
But the caveat is this: that person should not be appointed by the president. That person should be appointed by a committee which composed of representatives of civil society, so that person is truly independent. Because if you allow the present system of appointment to apply, then we're back to square one, because the president can just appoint somebody who will be beholden to his wishes and desires.
But sir, let's look back at the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, of which you were a commissioner in the past. What does this make of the commission, this call for an independent prosecutor? How about Shraj? Hasn't Shraj been performing its best in the fight against corruption?
Shraj doesn't have power to prosecute. And when it makes a finding of corruption or embezzlement, it cannot prosecute. It can only recommend to the Attorney General to prosecute. And in the past, when I was in office, I have made recommendations for prosecution which we are not adhered to. So the first thing is that Shraj has no power to prosecute. And when recommendations are made, they are not followed. Shraj's powers in terms of corruption are very limited. We can investigate and make recommendations. That's about it.
Now, there have been calls for amendment of Article 88 of the Constitution, and the argument is that that section makes it impossible to establish an independent prosecutor's office without an amendment to the Constitution. What do you say to that?
Yes, I think that if you want to establish an independent public prosecutor, you definitely would have to amend the Constitution. Because under the present Constitution, prosecutorial powers are vested in the Attorney General, who is also the Minister for Justice. So I don't see how you can create an independent public prosecutor with power to prosecute crimes without amending the Constitution. How is that person going to sit side by side with the Attorney General? So in my view, it definitely calls for an amendment of the Constitution. There are some who have suggested that you can create like an independent public prosecutor within the Attorney General's office. But that, in my view, will not solve the problem, because that person will still be under the
Attorney General,
and therefore, cannot be described as an independent public prosecutor.
Right, Justice Short, we're grateful for your time here on News at 10 on TV3. Justice Emil Francis Short is the former commissioner of the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice. My name is Stephen Anti, and you're watching News at 10.